Do you desire a profoundly erotic DS relationship or lifestyle with your partner but don't know where to start? Have you begun initial negotiations but don't know where to go from there? Do you want to deepen the connection in your dynamic but are confused about how exactly to do so? Well, look no further, because in this video, I'm giving you 10 simple keys to help you build your dream dynamic. And be sure to watch to the end, because I have a fantastic offer to help you build on the content we're covering today. So, jumping right into these secrets, we must start with the roles of each partner. Now, despite the common misconception, the kinks aren't what make BDSM. It's the roles of dominant and submissive, or top or bottom, but in this case, dom and sub. Think about it. If the kink is bondage, how can that kink be executed if roles are not first established? How can any bondage begin if players are unaware of who is rigging and who is being bound? This principle applies to all types of BDSM play. Roles of top and bottom, or dominant and submissive, facilitate any subsequent play. Otherwise, the confusion and ambiguity will prevent further exploration and play. And to help you do so, I have an exclusive resource called my BDSM Personality Guide, which is included in my new BDSM Newbie bundle. And this personality guide breaks down 22 of the most common kinky personas and roles. Just follow the link in this video's description to get instant access to this Newbie bundle. After roles are clearly established, a thorough discussion or negotiation about each partner's limits and boundaries is a must. SSC, or Safe, Sane, Consensual, is BDSM law, and part of this safety includes knowing what I call the fence line. Now, the fence line comprises each partner's hard limits, soft limits, edge zone, and triggers. Having these boundaries in writing for easy reference and to reinforce safety is a big reason for having a BDSM contract. A contract in this case is not legally binding and has nothing to do with paranoia or distrust like a prenup. A contract keeps everything clear, simple, keeps things clear and concise, and gives all partners an easy way to reference necessary information throughout the dynamic, because it can be a lot. And I've taken the guesswork out of contract building for you with my BDSM contract template in my Newbie bundle on Patreon. This 10-page PDF download contains all 11 of my recommended sections in a sample contract for you to fill in for your own dynamic. Just follow the link in this video's description to get instant access. Part of a thorough discussion of limits includes slow words, safe words, and what I call a stop sign, which is to be used as a safe word in the case of speech restrictions such as a gag. Now, I'm going to quickly highlight 4 important notes about slow words and safe words. First, all parties must be clear and united on their definitions. For some couples, calling a safe word during a scene means the scene is entirely over. Any roles being played lift and an immediate debrief occurs. For others, using a safe word is simply a way to indicate that the sub or bottom has reached their limit at that particular moment or with that specific activity, and a rest or redirection is appropriate. Still, some dominants enjoy the freedom of their submissive safe word and refuse to end the scene until the safe word is called. Whatever you choose, all players must be on the same page. It's also important to note that safe words are not just for submissives. Safe words allow the dominant to play and fully explore within the established fence line without worrying about unintentional violation or harm. Now, I often recommend that dominants, especially brat tamers or those coupled with smart-ass masochists, I highly recommend that you have a safe word for instances where bratting crosses the line into genuine disrespect. Additionally, the use of a safe word does not denote violation. This is a common misconception among newbies, but the need to call a safe word means clear communication is happening. If activity continues beyond that safe word, that would be the point of violation. That would be the point of abuse. And abuse can happen on the bottom side, where the submissive excessively or unnecessarily uses their safe word to escape consequences or punishment, cries wolf, etc. Or the reverse, when the submissive or bottom should have called their safe word, but they do not. Simply put, safe word misuse is safe word abuse because it violates trust. The next aspect of your DS dynamic is to determine the structure. In other words, how often or formal do you wish for your dynamic to be? Now, you can look at this in a couple of different ways, either 24/7 or on a spectrum. 24/7 or scene to scene is commonly referenced, which basically just means you wish to engage in DS just during sex or BDSM play, or you wish to incorporate this polarity and power gap throughout your everyday lives. That's one way of looking at it. But I prefer to view 24/7 DS as more of a spectrum versus an on or off, vanilla or kinky kind of switch. Now, this can be viewed in this way as high, low, or no protocol. Now, think of high protocol as just you and your partner in the privacy of your own home or playroom, freely expressing whatever DS arrangement you have agreed upon. Low protocol might be appropriate for public outings or family gatherings. And no protocol could be necessary during seasons of sickness or unexpected schedules, stressors, etc. The point here is that if you want sustainability, that's the name of the game here when it comes to DS. If you want sustainability instead of burnout, mold DS around your life. Don't try to fit your life into the confines of that DS box, because that is what will lead to burnout. Rules come next on our list, which are essential because they provide opportunities for punishment and punishment within your play or dynamic, whether or not you desire to invest in ongoing submissive training. As the dominant, consider things that will add enjoyment or pleasure to your life, foster the connection within your dynamic, and provide nurturing, growth, and challenge for your submissive. And the more specific you can be with these rules, the better. Not to be overbearing or unnecessarily controlling, but instead, specificity in this case becomes a gateway to DS interaction and training possibilities. For instance, a rule could be the submissive must eat healthy. Okay, decent rule, but it's not very specific, and it could lead to confusion, manipulation, or unintentional disobedience on behalf of the submissive. So a better rule could be the submissive is not allowed to consume any candy, chocolate, cake, cookies, pies, pastries, or soda. See the difference? Furthermore, this level of clarity will often create a deeper layer of attachment between the dominant and submissive, as every time the submissive sees a piece of forbidden candy or cake, their mind moves to thoughts of their dominant as they experience the emotional masochism of sacrifice. And to help you effortlessly establish these points of training in your own dynamic, you don't want to miss my submissive training guide in my Newbie bundle on Patreon. Now, this 7-page download walks you through a simple 5-step process to establish the points of training that will best serve your dynamic, that you can adjust as your submissive progresses. Again, just follow the link in the description below to get instant access to this exclusive resource. Next, we get to rituals, which are different from rules in the sense that these rituals are in place to keep the submissive focused on their submission, aware of the power gap, and consistent in their disciplines. So this is not about busy work dominance. This is about adjusting your submissive's focus to the areas you wish to occupy their attention, which should benefit the submissive, you as the dominant, and your dynamic as a whole. For instance, a ritual could be that the submissive makes the bed after the dominant leaves for work in the morning and then takes a kneeling selfie on the bed once the task is complete. Now, this would benefit the home organization, facilitating a calm and peaceful environment for both parties and giving the submissive a sense of accomplishment and motivation early in the day by giving them an easy win. This simple ritual would also foster the connection between the dom and sub through any engagement from the lovely photo. It would also likely ground the submissive as they center themselves in their submissive awareness by stopping to kneel. Now, let's talk about protocols. And although protocols, rules, and rituals are often clumped together as one, especially protocols and rituals, the two exist for different purposes. If we view rules as the dominant standards and rituals as the submissive's disciplines, protocols are the interaction. In other words, protocols are actions cued specifically by the dominant's presence or absence. Now, the tricky part is that a protocol can stand alone or trigger a ritual. So, as an example, let's think of these two in contrast within the same context. Okay, so we're looking at ritual and protocol here. And the context is the submissive's evening ritual is to change into an apron and a collar and nothing else and have dinner ready by 7 p.m. But the dominant has established a protocol for the submissive to greet him at the door when he arrives home from work, kneeling and offering to remove his shoes. Now, as the submissive prepares dinner from the kitchen, she hears the door unlock at 6:30. Now, in the middle of her evening ritual, the protocol was triggered. And in my opinion, that takes precedence. Acknowledging and honoring the presence of your master should always come first. So in this example, the well-trained submissive would pause meal prep and proceed with the protocol, kneeling at the door and greeting the dominant with a smile and an offer to remove his shoes. But the submissive will struggle to maintain these rules, rituals, and protocols if there is insufficient incentive within the dynamic. And by incentive, I mean punishments and rewards that will incentivize or inspire the submissive to be disciplined in their submission and service, even when they lack the motivation or will on their own. And that will happen. Life will happen. Your submissive will get tired. Your submissive will get overwhelmed. They will get fussy. They will push back. They're going to be disobedient or bratty at some point. Prepare for it. Okay? But if devotion has been built through safety, trust, vulnerability, and intimacy, that whole flow that we often talk about, and if that submissive is adequately incentivized, these moments of rebellion should be very mild and short-lived. That's the good news. And quickly, punishments mean those things that the submissive claims aversion, but truly enjoys. Like a smart-ass masochist saying, "No, whatever you do, please don't spank me." And of course, rewards can be anything the submissive finds enjoyable or pleasurable, like any of the fantastic ideas I have for you in my submissive reward guide in my BDSM Newbie bundle on Patreon. This PDF download has over 40 creative rewards across 6 categories so that you can customize the most effective incentives for your submissive. Follow the link in the description to get instant access to the entire bundle, including this resource. But as those of you know who have ever trained an actual canine before, all positive incentive-only training turns dogs into divas, okay? And a similarly entitled attitude will emerge from your submissive as well, without a balance of correction and punishment if needed. Now, this is not about creating endless, tedious rules to set up a submissive for failure so you can flex your sadist muscles through intense punishments. That's not what we're talking about here, okay? That right there, what we just rolled out, okay, that's insecurity. That's gonna lead to control, abuse, Toxicity, that's not proper domination. Okay? Proper domination is about keeping the submissive in the lane you both wish for them to be in. And when they stay steady on the path you have for them, they should be abundantly rewarded. That's the incentive. Should they deviate from your guidance, a correction or punishment may be necessary to get them back on the right path. But at the end of the day, these punishments should always be an act of loving redirection, not an excuse to shame and abuse. And the final secret that will unlock an incredible DS dynamic is aftercare. Now, aftercare is just as it sounds, care administered after a scene or play. Now, this may be viewed as post-romp cuddles or pillow talk in vanilla terms, but in a BDSM context, aftercare is essential for a few reasons. One, it facilitates a safe crash for all partners as they return from the heights of the physical, sexual, and psychological stimulation in the scene. And this can be accomplished through Gatorade and snacks, sleepy snuggles and naps, or little space, stuffies, and Disney movies. Whatever you and your partner need to rest and reconnect in a more tender and nurturing way. Aftercare also allows partners to debrief and discuss the incredible moments of their play and areas for adjustment or improvement that may be important to note going forward. So I tried to keep this as simple as possible, but if you're new to the lifestyle, I understand that all of this information can be very overwhelming, and I want to help remove some of that stress, if not all of that stress, from you. And that's exactly why I put together my BDSM Newbie bundle. And this bundle on Patreon contains 6 powerful guides. We talked about some of them today, but I have 6 powerful guides to get you started on your kinky journey, including my BDSM dictionary, my BDSM personality guide, kink checklist, BDSM contract template, submissive punishment guide, and submissive reward guide. Now, this bundle is valued at over $90, but you can get instant access now for just $15. Follow the link in the description to download and start building the incredible BDSM lifestyle you've been craving. And be sure you're subscribed and have those notifications turned on, because in the next video, I'm sharing my secrets to an amazing long distance BDSM relationship.